Okay, I got something. Can we swear in the intro?
Yeah, I mean, well, we could swear now. I mean, it's pretty much,
Okay. I
yeah.
just didn't know if you're like, okay, well, no swearing in the intro, but swearing in the podcast is fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Fuck your rules.
Right?
Fuck your couch. I'm God.
All right, I got mine.
All right,
Good.
we are live. Y'all.
Woo!
What order are we going?
I'm third.
I'm first.
All right.
And that means Zach is second, so the whole
Yep.
thing could collapse around Zach's shoulders.
Nah.
Perfect.
Second's the middle's the safest.
Is it? Is it?
Yeah,
Those
because
were the
then
boring ones.
yeah,
Start
'cause-
off strong, be weak in the middle, and end strong. That's
yeah,
the whole-
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not
Or you
gonna-
go for most film trilogies, and you start out okay, you get amazing, and then you end poorly.
Wait, I hit the wrong button. Okay. All right, I had to start the recording here. Okay.
Yeah, I got the recording icon.
Cool. Are we ready?
Yep.
Yep.
On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
The Snyder cut didn't cut the budget.
Blumhouse is churning out more shit.
And time to get this fire started, King style.
all right. It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 541 for September the 30th, 2020. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of CultureSmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Heimbach, contributor to Culture Smash TV.
Mr. Roboto. And Zach?
I'm Zach Martin. I'm not a robot.
Yet. We don't know if that's
Yes.
gonna. Yeah, we don't know if that's gonna continue.
Mm.
Happy Halloween month Eve, everybody.
Yeah.
Someone go wake up that singer from
Green
that
Day,
band, from
And the
Green
reason
Day.
he made that song was because his dad died, so he had a crappy month.
Mm.
Way to be,
Now, Zach. Now, how you feel? Now, how you?
I feel the same, dead inside.
Is that how
Yeah.
you? Is that how you felt when you started Snapchatting me a video from Costco?
That's different. That was abhorrent, and Costco should immediately remove that horrible imagery and apologize at once. Okay, Costco putting up Christmas stuff in September.
Yeah, trees, everything.
Christmas trees,
Rude.
Santa Clauses, got the music going.
They did have the music going. I heard that.
Have some respect for Halloween. Have some
I'm like-
respect for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you got
It's
two.
more than one holiday.
You
It's
got
more
two
than
holidays.
So, funny story, Nico and I were out walking the pupper the other day, and one of our neighbors came out of her house to tell us that she liked our Halloween decorations.
I mean, they are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. I saw your picture. Yeah, but I don't it feels like, and maybe that's just a thing, but it feels like every year they get quicker and quicker with the Christmas shit.
Yeah.
This felt really quick though.
I mean, it was walking in. I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!"
He was so mad. He was so butthurt. It kind of made it worth being up to see Zach get mad. I'm not gonna lie.
Being up, it was at 5 p.m.
So what's everybody been up to? Well, we missed a week last week. So what have you guys been up to?
Puppy.
That's,
Tina sounds
that's our
exhausted.
boring. That's our boring answer. It's always the
I've,
puppy.
I've been playing more on Discord, and I re-downloaded Steam so that I could start playing
What are
again.
you playing on Discord? Just Among Us? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
roboting over there. Something fierce. Is it the internet connection,
Maybe.
Probably.
Tina? Yeah. Is it just Among Us that you're playing?
Currently, yeah. But yeah, reading.
I'm gonna figure it out. I've been behind. I really like. I know we're gonna talk about TV later, but I really have not. I mean, getting
We're
ready
just-
for the Nashville Film Festival this week and last week, on top of everything else going on, has been ridiculous. I am very interested to see how the virtual film festival is going to go, though. I'm going to participate as much as I can. Zach, I know what you've been up to, but go ahead and say it anyway.
I helped Steven with learning stuff and fixing stuff with his project he's going.
That took us 20 minutes.
It took us 20 minutes, but it's something I did.
What was the rest of the week?
Right.
I went. It was my birthday week, so it was kind of like.
And you were being a bitch about it too. I didn't even bother to say anything because the day before your birthday, you're like, "I hate my birthday. Fuck my birthday. I hate it."
Yeah, I hate it.
I'm gonna not say anything.
I hate it. It's just like I just don't want. No, don't. Just whatever.
I like my birthday. It's all about me.
I mean, we got barbecue. I went and saw my folks.
And you had Blanton's.
Got Blanton's, but that was Friday night. Went and saw Tenet. Second time, which we might get to this later, but I got an update on Tenet.
Well, we're only going to get to it because we're going to do the box office.
Yeah.
So just hold that thought and let's move into the story. So this story, to preface it, is Nico. You posted this. It's more of a local story, but it does have national implication, and it is of the season. So I went ahead and threw it in our rundown for something different to talk about. I hope Zach edited his story.
Well,
Probably not.
I mean, this story, I'll be real, it's hard to edit because it's NPR, so you're kind of having to edit the style of NPR,
and that's fine.
This sort of format. Nashville Nightmare in Madison, Tennessee, has switched to a idea from Universal Studios using pre-triggered audio that the actor would basically press a button and then mouth instead of actually screaming something. He likes that no one is losing their voice. Their head's not hurting. It's actually really good, he says. 2020 has been scary enough without haunted houses, but they're finding ways to open this season. In addition, the number of actors has been cut by half, and groups moving through will be kept small and moving in one direction. They are collecting phone numbers for contact tracing purposes.
That's scary.
You remove basically they removed.
That's the real horror.
Yeah, they removed everything that people would normally touch. So, like cloths, like the body bags,
curtains, the vines that hang down that would normally touch you.
Yeah, all that
big fat bag that you push through.
They even scratched an idea for a virus-themed haunt walkthrough. Thanks, by the way. We don't want to be viewed as a museum unless it's a haunted museum, but I think that's exactly what it is.
That is how they were able to open, is because, I mean, I don't know if you got to that. You covered that part.
Brad Webb, who is basically the owner of the haunt. Around the country, haunted houses are finding ways to work hand sanitizer stations seamlessly into their themes, which I'd love to have a picture of, but hey, there's no picture in that article. They're taking cues from the country's largest theme parks, which have been able to keep outbreaks to a minimum. I don't think it's a great time for informed people to be creative and innovative and come up with some great solutions. Part of that is to try to figure out how we can be socially connected, and what those activities will keep us mentally well, but protect us physically as much as possible. Still, the CDC recommends this may be a better year to try an open air haunted forest. Those suck.
They do suck. I have never been to a good haunted woods as an adult. As a kid, yeah, okay, maybe there was something. So it's interesting because this is the one thing I'm probably the most butthurt about October, is not doing haunted houses.
I'm just in my mind, I'm like, yeah, we'll do one. And then that real part of me is like, no, we're not, but just keep saying you are. Keep that hope alive.
And that you just roboted a little bit there, sir.
Well, you did too, sir. Who's the host?
Maybe we're just all robots on this episode.
Maybe so. But
maybe one of us is an imposter.
Probably.
Zach is sus.
Zach is always sus.
My vote's on blue.
You're blue?
No, I'm black. You're red.
I'm purple. Nico's blue.
I guess purple. Purple. I meant purple. No, don't vote me out.
I've been kind of that part that you go in the back of your head that keeps telling you maybe we could do it, has me kind of monitoring to see how like opening weekends and stuff were. And when I see posts already saying we've got to rework the way we're sending groups through to get these big groups through faster, freaks me out, because that means whatever social distancing they had planned is going out the window so they can get the groups moving. So
yeah, I don't think you could pay me to go through any kind of closed
You
space
could
like
pay
that.
me, sure, to walk through. Is anyone through it? Anyone in there?
And what I think is fascinating is
It's empty. I'll walk through it.
No, is what they're doing with. They did open 2 of the Halloween Horror Nights haunted houses in Universal, but every scare zone where you get to a place where there would be an actor to scare you is covered in plexiglass. So to me, it's like, this is a waste of time because you're going to know walking up, oh, there's a bunch of plexiglass, here it comes, and then they jump up and do their whatever. I don't know. I think it's, I know why, because some of these people, that's the only time that's when they make their most livelihood for whatever they do is this time of the year. So they got to try. But,
What we can do, we can tell KJ to get a lot of like inflatable dummies or like blow up dolls. And as Zach's sleeping, put them like randomly throughout the house and then like make sure the lights are cut and he can't turn them on. That way when he wakes up, he has to go around and he's just feeling all these blow up dolls. There you go.
So you're very close to what is hilarious to me is Zach's weak spot is when we go through haunted attractions. If there's a room where there's like a bunch of dummies that all look exactly the same and one of them is a real person,
but you don't know which one.
This guy loses his freaking.
I hate that, and they don't even have to do like a jump or anything. They could just barely move, and I'm like set off like a cat to the ceiling.
They did do that one year actually in Nashville Nightmare, and it was a bunch of nuns. And I don't think she did anything but just turn her head, and Zach like had a mental breakdown.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it was one of the more entertaining moments of Halloween that I can think of. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's just interesting. We're coming up on Halloween, and everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do. I think these trick or treat tubes that I keep seeing are hilarious. Have you seen these?
No lie, I want to build one.
Yeah, but you have seen them. You've seen them.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Building the tubes so that way when you open the door, you can
chute,
just drop the candy through it so the people would come up.
But the thing is, I'd want to have it from like the upstairs window down over the roof and through the porch.
So it builds up so much momentum, it comes out the other end, smacks them in the head, and knocks them unconscious. That'd be great. I would love that too. Now, I think that's kind of a fun compromise. I mean, that's okay. I mean, for little kids, I guess. I don't know. I don't feel like they worked out a good solution, and it depresses me because if I did even try to go through, it wouldn't be the same experience. So that would just kind of suck.
Yeah, I feel like my fear level would be in the wrong place. I'd be more concerned about the people around me, and
you wouldn't have fear. You would have anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be, oh no, that spooked me. I'd be like,
it wouldn't be a jump scare. It would be a constant drain on your mental strain, just being like, oh my god, I'm gonna get sick. Oh, there's a jump. Oh, I'm gonna get sick. Oh, there's another person.
Here comes.
2020 is a constant drain on your mental state. I don't think what else is it gonna do?
Exactly.
Don't say that. Find a way.
Right. Thank goodness we are actually doing our 12 hours of terror. I'm so pumped about that. It's gonna be a good time to be had. So let's move on and talk about some movies. It's still weird. It's still weird to have a box office, but we do. So
especially when we're not really going to see them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So number 10 on the box office is the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. It made $142,000. It's made almost $4.5 million bucks.
And Steven's lost.
Number 9 is what?
Anyone else?
You went a little, you went a little skippy there.
Yeah, so Zach did too when he said that. I'm checking my internet, but maybe it's a Zoom.
I think it's
good
you.
internet, babe. Well, no, you're cutting.
It could be a Zoom thing.
I think we lost. Oh,
nope. I switched to my 5G connection, so.
I hope that 5G is in the room. Otherwise, it'd have to go through walls.
It is in the room. All right, let's see if that works better.
What's number 9?
I'm going back to it. I had to alt tab. Number 9. What is this? Cajillionaire. It made $215,000. I don't even know what this is.
It's a art house comedy thing.
Oh,
All
is
I
it?
know is Belcourt's showing it. Some other places are showing it.
Oh, it's brand new. And that is what it's made so far. Number 8 is The Last Shift. It made $246,000, almost 247. That appears to be new also. Number 7 is Shortcut. I don't know any of these. It made $305,000. I guess it's also new.
Nothing.
Yeah. Number 6 is The Broken Heart. What? What'd you say?
I know nothing about it.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Number 6 is The Broken Hearts Gallery. I have at least seen some marketing for this one. I don't know too much, but I've seen a little bit of marketing. It made $500,000. It's made $3.2 million so far. Number 5 is Infidel. This looks like a Lifetime movie. I've seen the trailers for this. It made $761,000. It's 2.6, almost 2.7 million so far.
It looks bad.
It looks bad.
It sounds like it's gonna be racist and
Well,
homophobic as fuck.
well, it feels like one of those old like 90s era Lifetime movies where the husband gets kidnapped by terrorists and the wife has to go to the Middle East and rescue him. I mean, it's literally what the story is. It really feels like that. It's probably is going to be. Number 4 is the 2020 re-release of The Empire Strikes Back. It made
re-release because this was released earlier this year as well.
Small little film.
It's made another $900,000. It's made $1.9 million. This is how Disney is turtle crawling its way into profitability. Number 3 is Unhinged. This movie's been out for a while. It made $967,000. It's made $17 million so far. Number 2 is The New Mutants. It made another $1.1 million. It's made almost $19.5 million so far. And number 1, again, this weekend was Tenet. It made $3.4 million. It's made $41 million so far domestically. It's pushing to 250 or something like that.
Yeah, around about, I want to say 260, 270, something like that. Sounds like a bomb to me. Compared to everything else on this list, it's a bomb.
Exactly.
I bet the $19 million that New Mutants has made doesn't even cover all the marketing costs of every revision of its release date.
Exactly. That's hilarious. But Tenet is proving itself to do exactly what I believe the studio had intended was to inch its way into success a little at a time, because nothing else is new coming out. I didn't even put an opening list here for what's coming because there really isn't much of anything. I don't think we have anything of reasonable note until November.
Yeah, everything kept getting pushed back.
Yeah, which for now is still James Bond, but I'm feeling like it's going to get pushed.
I mean, everything I'm seeing is limited until, well, October 9th, The War with Grandpa, which looks like that awful...
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
terrible.
It's the...
Like Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro
What are you doing?
movie.
I feel like Robert De Niro just does anything for a check now, which is crazy. He does a lot of really bad movies. And, there was a time when he was a great actor. All right, so let's talk about
Tenet. Yeah, I saw it again. It was great.
And can I just say, I told you so?
Like, okay, so walking out the first time, it's so much that your brain is really trying hard to make sense of it all. Seeing it again, like the second time, everything clicked. And oh my gosh.
I mean, that line
great.
That line that you quoted to me in the Facebook Messenger,
that line is so cool.
But that almost made me jump out of my seat the first time I saw it. I was like, "Oh God, it's so good! It's so good." I mean, I love that movie. I mean, I thought it was phenomenal. It was beautiful. It was a love letter to cinema. I'm glad you're finally catching up instead of being a little Bitch.
Again, it's so much that I needed time to process, including seeing it again. And then once I did, it was like, oh yeah,
I need to go see it again. Um,
it's incredible. You start seeing the setups and payoffs,
mhm.
and then you realize, okay, it's not overly complicated because we want to make it complicated. They did set up
Everything. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. It's super good. It's super good. I didn't put it in the rundown because there really wasn't a huge story to it, and I got it kind of at the last minute. But if you do intend to go see it, check your listings because some theaters are reducing hours.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
I don't blame them though.
Yeah, and there's some theaters that are closing 1 or 2 days a week during the week.
I think that makes sense.
It makes sense.
It does make sense. It does. So if you're going to try the you know what, I'm going to do that too. If you're going to try the sneaking up and seeing it during the week, then check and make sure they aren't closed.
I think you just made it worse.
I think I did.
For our audio listeners, Steven is cleaning his camera.
I was attempting because the glare, it's enough when it bounces. Yeah,
that's better. Yeah.
That when these can lights bounce off the back of this head, man, it's like looking at the sun. You guys need to see it, and you can't. We
do. It's
you can do it
I'm
safely.
Paranoid about going out.
I know you are, and I am too. And this is one of the reasons.
Like 5 people in the theater.
Well, I think it's also because like we're kind of paranoid about leaving the puppy alone for that long. We haven't done that yet.
Well, and if you can take an afternoon off, you can actually see it with no people in the theater, which is my preference. Yeah, it's worth the effort that it will take for you to go see it. Let's see.
Like
right,
if I'm looking, like just for fun sakes, if I'm looking at you want to go tomorrow at 1 p.m., there are no tickets sold.
Yeah, during the week you can get by with that. So let's talk about this trailer we just watched for this craft.
Do we have to?
We do. I have some thoughts. So Tina, what did you think?
So when they announced that they were doing a craft title, they never specified if it was going to be a prequel, a reboot, or a sequel. So I was very hesitant. This trailer, while it does have some interesting concepts and some things that I'm like, oh, that might be neat to see, I'm still very hesitant.
Well, it has the Blumhouse logo, so
it has the Blumhouse logo, which is not a good thing for me. I like Blumhouse sometimes, but it's not for the they did a really good movie.
It's for the shit.
That was entertaining to watch. I will say the what is it? The director that they got for it did Invisible Man and what was the other one?
No, he didn't. No.
Which one was it on the? It had from the person who did Invisible Man and something.
No,
maybe it's a producer.
Producer, thank you.
Yeah, it's the producer.
Yeah,
but the producer for the Invisible Man and one of the other titles that I was relatively entertained by. So I'm like,
if you want to play that game, if you want to play that game, hey, this has the producer of, what's that? Oh, Ma, from the producer
I never saw Ma,
of.
So I can't.
What's another really crappy Blumhouse movie?
Well, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter.
Bottom line, I'm very
harping on.
Bottom line, I'm still very skeptical, especially when they threw in that cheesy line that they're taking from the first.
They took it from the original film.
Yeah, it's like, we are the weirdos, mister. It's like, oh, that just fell so flat on its face.
Well, and the reason it falls flat on its face is because the original film. Maybe it wouldn't fall as flat on its face if you didn't know it. But my thing is, the craft. I remember the original The Craft, and it wasn't that good of a movie. But it was sort of, I guess when it came out, it was a cultural thing. It was a cult classic. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of young girls love it. They, found it empowering, I guess, in some ways, and like the characters and it didn't
have cheesy sparkle effects
Those were
Like,
so bad.
Oh
And-
my god.
And
In
you
the
know,
trailer, like usually I give a little bit of leeway for special effects in the trailer because sometimes they just haven't polished it up yet, but
Mhm.
those looked bad.
Those look like iMovie HD 2008
Mm.
special
Yeah.
effects.
now what I will say is that movie is the kind of movie that I think generationally could be rebooted because of if they're going to like try and do something thematically to speak to that age group. The original movie is not going to do that. It's out of time, you know? So, I mean, it is one that could be rebooted. I don't know that this one looks that good, though.
Yeah, this
but
one just
to
doesn't
be
look that
fair, the original one didn't look that good either. Sometimes it's just not for us. You know, sometimes you look at a 14-year-old girl, she might love that movie, which is who it's probably made for, other than the nostalgia wink that it's doing to the parents of that 14-year-old girl, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I remember when the
when
first
they
one
held
came
up
out,
that
and
picture.
witches were cute.
That picture
you know,
looks
I was
so
like, all right.
No.
bad,
The
like-
picture one, it looks like it was a still taken from the original movie, and two,
Because it was.
clearly green screen, like a green
It was,
frame.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
can
was,
yeah, it's
slightly see the edge. I was like, yeah, this is a Blumhouse movie where they gave no money to it, and it looks like shit. I mean, if you're like, well, it's from the producer of The Invisible Man, you know what? It's also from the producer of such classic films as Truth or Dare, the Purge
think
movies.
I
Get
like the first
Out,
Purge. Suck it.
Ouija 2.
I hear though the first Ouija is pretty good.
Uh,
That's what I hear. I haven't seen it.
no,
I don't
it's
know.
not. How about the remake of Martyrs? Yeah. How about Sinister 2? Oh, The Gallows? Yeah, no. It's Jason Blum as producer, and he produces a million fucking movies.
You know, the Gallows you can get at the Dollar Tree right now for $1.
Dude, I watched that shitty fucking movie. It's awful.
I didn't watch it. I think it's Blumhouse movies are not generally my cup of tea. I get why
It is the exception to the rule that they are good, but they are overwhelmingly bad.
boy, is this how it's going to go the whole show?
Probably.
I'm taking
Where you
inspiration.
are going to step on everything everybody says. Is that
Well, I'm taking inspiration from the cultural events happening
you're going to
without
Yeah, I was about to
referencing
say-
it. Without
we can
referencing
mute
it.
you. We can mute you.
yeah, that's doable. This can happen.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to be positive because maybe it's not for us. It doesn't look good to me though.
I'll still watch it just because I need to.
Yeah.
Being me, because I mean, let's face it, I was the person who they targeted for the original.
The original,
draft.
yeah.
So I'm going to watch it. Me and my brother
Of
are
course.
going to watch it.
Just like I watch every Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Yeah.
Even
Well-
though that movie was before my time, I still loved it when I grew up old enough to watch it, and now I watch them all, and all of them suck. They just do.
Well, speaking of Jason Blum,
wait. There's one thing I know.
Okay.
You had a good one, but there's one thing I can't believe Zach didn't bitch about in this trailer. That actually did. Like I've been so like non-committal to this trailer, except for one thing:
yeah.
the use of the Cyndi Lauper song and the way they fucked it. Basically, it's
Yeah,
like
that
I
was
wasn't
why?
gonna
so
mention it. I
distorted.
really wasn't gonna mention it, but I am tired.
Oh, I know. That's
Oh.
why I'm asking why you didn't bother bringing it up.
This
Because
it's just a fucking another one on the pile. It's this trend of we're gonna take this song and make it dark and brooding, and like even with like a trailer I liked, like the Dune trailer, where it's like we're gonna take Eclipse from Pink Floyd and make it this dark and brooding thing. It's like stop.
I actually think
Stop.
maybe
I
the
want to see
craft.
the reverse. I want to see this really dark song be like chipper and happy.
Yeah, like
So
I've heard a
wait,
jazz
wait.
version
So,
of Get Up
what-
and Down with the Sickness, and it's
what-
great.
what I was gonna say is I think they should have left the Cyndi Lauper song the way it is and still used it.
Yeah.
Let's be ironic with it or something, you know, and just like
I mean, let's go full tilt into it at this
yeah,
point.
with super chipper and bubbly.
You already
song.
got the sparkle effects on the like makeup. In the bath, the milk bath scene. Let's just go on ahead, go full like 80s pop. Let's do it.
Exactly. So anyway, speaking of Jason Blum,
Yes. So speaking of Jason Blum, Zac Efron will star in Firestarter, a new adaptation of Stephen King's classic novel. The film centers on a young girl who develops pyrokinetic powers and the ability to see the future. She is abducted by a mysterious government agency that plans to weaponize her superhuman skills. The film is backed by Universal Pictures, Blumhouse Productions, and Weed Road Productions. Efron, who first came into fame in the Disney High School Musical franchise, has shown his darker side in certain projects, playing Ted Bundy in Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. Efron's other credits include The Neighbors, The Greatest Showman, and The Paperboy. He will next be seen in the remake of Three Men and a Baby. Now, King is a horror and fantasy giant whose list of bestsellers include It, The Shining, Carrie, Pet Sematary.
Okay, if you don't know who Stephen King is,
all of which have been turned into films of varying quality and success. Firestarter was previously adapted for the screen in 1984 with Drew Barrymore, Martin Sheen, and George C. Scott playing central roles. Keith Thomas of The Vigil will direct the film from a script by writer Scott Teems of Halloween Kills. Jason Blum and Akiva Goldsman, who previously teamed on the Paranormal Activity franchise, that's the one I was thinking of, will produce. Goldsman had originally been attached to direct Firestarter. This isn't Blum's only recent foray into King's canon. He's teaming with Ryan Murphy and Netflix on an adaptation of the author's short story, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I am calling it right now King Cinematic Universe.
That's why I wanted you to do this story, because you had that idea.
Here's the problem.
If you wanted me to do the story, why did you give it to Nathan?
It was an accident.
So King's, all of the various different adaptations of Stephen King's works are spread out among so many different studios and developers that how could you do a King cinematic universe well if it's actually inside all of them connected? You can do little callbacks that are all the same callbacks in the books, but it's in terms of like, oh, this is the same actor that was in that, and yada yada yada, which doesn't actually happen all that much anyway. But that kind of thing, you're not going to have a real cohesive cinematic universe.
If Disney and Sony can get along, maybe. Never know.
Yeah, but Disney and Sony can get along when it's Spider-Man, when it's going to gross $1 billion.
Yeah.
Not even then, really.
Has anybody seen the original Firestarter? Has everyone seen it?
So many years ago.
Time ago.
A very
it
long
used to
time.
be one of my. I mean, come on.
But didn't Sci-Fi make a sequel to it with Drew Barrymore or something? I remember there being a made-for-TV sequel.
Well, I thought Drew Barrymore.
That was Carrie. Carrie, they did.
I knew they did one for Carrie too, but no, there was like a made-for-TV.
Carrie 2, the Rage.
The Rage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a piece of shit.
So I don't know.
Rage.
I'm assuming you guys know who George C. Scott is, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the original Firestarter is weird because, I don't get, like, even when as a kid, and I guess because I watch so much horror, I don't get scared or bothered by stuff too much. But George C. Scott is an amazing actor to begin with. And if you watch that movie, there is a scene, because in I don't know if you know I'm sure you guys know the story, it's probably been a while, but George C. Scott's character is determined to be the one to kill Drew Barrymore's character because he believes if he can kill her in the right way, he'll take her power. And there is a scene where he gets her, and it's just the two of them, and he's looking at her, talking to her all sweet when he's about to punch her square between the eyes and bust her, like push her nose back into her brain. That is creepy as fuck. That I saw that on HBO as a kid, and it scared the living shit out of me. And I don't know why. I think it's just him because he's so scary. But that movie it's hard to touch. It's one of the better Stephen King adaptations.
Firestarter was one of the best Stephen King novels.
It's that sort of hybrid of horror and kind of science fiction that when he does it, it's so good. If you haven't read The Institute, you should read The Institute, by the way. It's that same kind of story.
I just got through reading Carrie for the first time. I had never read Carrie.
Oh, it's a good book.
It is. And I'm actually reading Salem's Lot as well. So
ooh, I bet that's good. I would wager
next ones.
That's probably a really good book. The TV movie is okay. That's one probably that should
Rob Lowe one.
Mm-hmm. That's something that should probably be remade, to be honest.
Probably.
But this one, I don't know, man. I just don't know if it's something that should be touched, because that original one, especially Drew Barrymore, is so good in that movie.
I think that's
Drew Barrymore was a force when she was a kid, man.
I think that's the question, because I think that is the important part. It's like Zac Efron saying, "All right, who cares? Who is going to be the kid?"
Mm-hmm. Now,
that's why I was wondering why this got so much attention. I'm like, he's
because
not the main
Zac
character.
Efron and everybody likes to go to the hot new guy or whatever.
So that's the reason I now I remember. That's the reason I initially.
That's the reason you gave it to Nathan.
Yeah, because I called him out on the last show. I'm like, why does anybody give a shit about Zac Efron? Who the hell is this guy? Because I literally don't think I've seen anything with him in it.
I still don't think it's cool that you were about to give a Stephen King story to someone other than me.
I know.
I guess you could say hindsight is 20/20.
No.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
All right, moving on. Typically, a director's cut uses footage from the cutting room floor discarded to make the theatrical version. Not necessarily the case with the Snyder cut of Justice League. Originally thought to cost around $20 to $30 million to do some new CGI work, The Wrap has reports that it is landing at about an extra $70 million on top of the original film's budget, with reshoots in the mix. Reshoots are expected to happen within the next month for about a week or two. Initial reports indicate that Snyder is going to have Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher coming back. But hey, at least they won't have to spend CGI money on Henry Cavill's now non-existent mustache.
So I've heard reports also that Henry Cavill's not in the reshoots. But...
Yeah, I saw an interview with him. He said he has nothing to do with it.
All right, well, then that initial report's gone.
Yeah,
they still have to spend money on mustaches.
This is no longer a Snyder cut.
Stupid.
This is now a recut.
Well, it is technically
call it a redo.
You're right. It's a Snyder cut, but it's not like the director's cut of the film, because his director is the director's recut. It is the revision of the film.
Steven made this point a few weeks ago, and I was like, well, if they only use pretty much all the footage they had, you could call it a director's cut with time to make better decisions. This is now a completely different thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a movie get rebooted that fast.
They spent $300 million on the first cut, and now we're adding $70 million to it.
I guess this would be like if you called the special editions of Star Wars director's cuts.
Yeah. So the thing is,
the special edition or the Blu-ray edition?
Well, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
The most recent pre-Disney version of the movies.
Exactly.
Well, technically, the streaming version was pre-Disney.
Okay. All right. Moving on. So the one thing I was thinking about on this is that point, that this can't be a Snyder cut because of all the time that has gone by. I mean, he's basically revising the movie based off, fan response. But looking back on it, he did not get to actually finish shooting the movie he wanted to shoot. It was still in process when he had to leave the project. So technically, to do a cut, an actual Snyder cut, he would have had to have shot more footage because he didn't get to finish the shoot he originally had set forth. So this is as close as we're going to get to a Snyder cut, but all these years later, and I saw an interview with Henry Cavill, and he even said it. He said his comment was, it's like, what, 3 years or 4 years ago or whatever? He wasn't even sure. So it just, impact of time is making it impossible to be a Snyder cut.
Yeah, what people want out of it cannot exist. It's what I've been saying on the show for forever. It's like there was not enough of the movie to cut. And he has to go back and do reshoots. That proves there's not enough of the movie for him to do what he wants to do. So he has to go back, and if he's doing reshoots, then yes, it's going to be informed by audience opinion. It's going to be informed by what everyone thought of the movie when it hit. There's no way to divorce that from what we're going to get as the finished product.
And virtually every filmmaker, me and Zach included, if you look back at your work 3 or 4 or 5 years after you've done it, you're like, oh yeah, I probably could have cut there instead of there. I mean, that's just what happens.
Let's trim this shot or two.
Yeah, that's so there's no way. I mean, it is like you said, it is more like the Lucas recuts than an actual cut of the era. That we will never get the movie that was meant to be, and people need to let that go. I'm curious now to see what this is going to be. It's going to be a TV series now, basically. It's not a movie. What did we discover or read? It was like over 3 or 4 nights.
It's
gonna
4
be?
nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming 1 hour per night.
And that sucks.
I mean, if it's one night is 30 minutes, then
It should just be
nah,
2
it can't be
nights and
that.
2 hours each night.
But it's like night 1 is an hour and a half. Night 2 is 30 minutes. Night 3 is an hour.
I don't see how this could be made. That original movie could be made better with a longer running time.
I mean, it's half of it's probably in slow motion because it's Zack Snyder.
Yeah, probably. It's probably true. But it is crazy to see how much, I mean, HBO is investing, Warner Brothers is investing as much money or more money into this than some of their other shows. And there are actually things popping up that I have heard nothing about. But if you look at HBO Max, they've got original things popping up all the time that they're not even talking about. It's weird.
I hate that. They really
Yeah, like
don't
somebody
market.
just linked me to the White House farm murders. I'm like, wait,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, crap. Now I got to add that to my list because
It's especially documentaries. There's a lot of documentaries that are just popping up. Now there's some of those shit documentaries too. I got wrangled into one of them that looks like it. What is that?
Nico is slamming.
Sorry,
the key.
sorry.
No, he's going for
Now we know where Nico's microphone is.
it. It was one of those, supposed to be like a real like political documentary, and it ends up being, propaganda-ish and conspiracy theory-ish. I got away from that one pretty quick, but that was something new too. But it is weird that they have so much popping up that they're just not talking about it. I don't know why, except they just want to quietly fatten up the library, maybe. It's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have this, like something like Raised by Wolves, I have yet to see a single advertisement for it.
I've seen them on HBO watching other things. That's it. But
Nothing online.
I've seen no marketing outside of that. No, I agree. Other than reviews.
And they're dropping episodes at random. It feels like.
I can't figure out what the schedule is. So I just check every couple of days because I don't know when the next one's coming. I agree.
I mean, it'd be better if it's like every Sunday or every Wednesday or 2 episodes on this day.
That is the one thing. You can add it to your watch list and it just pops up in your feed, which is what I did.
Yeah, but then you check it and you're like, holy shit, I'm 3 episodes behind. What the hell?
Oh, it's like, holy shit, I got something to watch now. That's awesome.
Fine.
All right, moving on.
Well, speaking of TV.
Okay, this one I've been looking forward to discussing. The WandaVision trailer dropped last week. What did you guys think?
This is not what I thought this was going to be.
I am very intrigued. I'm actually looking forward to this.
I'm kind of curious. What did you think it was going to be, Zach?
I thought it was just going to be like, well, based on the pictures and the whole, what everybody thought it was going to be, which was kind of this comedy, lighthearted. Let's take an idea of, all these different time periods and have it be wacky. I did not expect it to be so serious. I really didn't.
I don't think it's going to be that serious in a lot of parts.
I think it's going to be, it's a Marvel thing, so I think it's going to be equal amounts of its brevity and also serious stuff.
The quips are going to be in full force. Yeah.
But I think the fascinating bit about the surrealness of it, dealing with Vision dead or not, and that kind of thing, and the reality warping abilities of the Scarlet Witch probably seeming to be affecting this whole thing. I'm really fascinated to see where they go with this, and also kind of like how it ties into those characters in a cinematic version too. Like how long after Endgame does this thing take place? When does Scarlet Witch snap and start warping all of reality?
One of the there's just one frame, like it goes by really quick that like I had to watch it 2 times to catch it. But there's one frame that makes me really happy because it possibly introduces a future for 2 of my favorite characters. And it's when Vision and Wanda are holding 2 twin babies. And I'm like, are we going to get Wiccan? Are we gonna get Wiccan? I need me some Wiccan.
Yeah, Wiccan and Speedy. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be really neat if they.
Speedy, okay, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you gotta-
But no, Wiccan is my favorite. I love him so much.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it goes, and I really like that we don't get a solid idea of the plot of this show. It gives us a lot of questions. It shows a lot of scenes. There's definitely a lot of footage that we see in this trailer, and we get to. I love seeing the trick or treating Halloween bits.
Yes, I love
Those are-
like Vision's OG outfit as a Halloween costume.
Those are great. I wonder at some point if we're gonna get like the '80s Vision where he's wearing that just the straight white suit. But
I need Wanda's headpiece, like the full on.
Oh, that original costume was one of my favorites in comic books.
Yeah.
My feelings on this are so complicated to me because it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I don't know how Zach didn't get that this was the kind of what was coming, because this is exactly what I expected. And I love it that Marvel plays with genres and everything is not just another superhero thing. They got to go into some different kind of genre with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea. I mean, to me, I don't know if they blatantly said this, but this is a riff on House of M to me.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like
it totally is.
Yeah, and that's great because I love House of M. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm just not excited. I'm like, I don't really care, and I feel kind of bad about it.
I'm pretty interested. I'm pretty interested. You know what? One thing I do think is fascinating. There's not a villain apparent in the trailer.
No, there is a villain appearance.
I was about to say, I really thought there was.
And that woman in the car is going to be the villain.
I didn't take that as the villain. I figured that seemed more of a part of the reality warping stuff, but it didn't.
I feel like that woman is going to represent what is it, like the Brotherhood or something like that follows her through time, because I believe that character is cast for the season.
Maybe, but it's not as evident as oh hey look, there's Thanos in the trailer, or there's
or
Loki
hey
in the trailer.
here's Cheetah in the Wonder Woman trailer.
Yeah,
and I can't figure it out. Like it's like I look at it and I'm like, it's exactly what I expected. Riffing on some comics, some of my all-time favorite comics. But I can't bring myself to care, and I can't figure out why that is, because it should be right in that space that I like.
Is it because of that Disney Plus logo?
It might be. I don't know.
I mean, KJ was shocked to see the Disney Plus logo. She thought this was like a movie.
Oh,
it does look good. Like that, in terms of that visual quality of the footage looks pretty good.
They did. They put money in it, which I kind of anticipated, since it's also a Marvel property, that they would put a little more into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to like it, but part of it now, as I'm sitting here and thinking about it, and maybe part of it is because they have not, to me, in the franchise, like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to date, done a great job with her power, like to lead up to what this is going to be in some ways.
I thought her power was like she could just move stuff or like throw.
Literally, how they describe her power is he's fast, she's weird.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair criticism. I think that is, I didn't even think about that aspect, but you will likely get people going into this wondering, how is she able to do this? Because this doesn't match anything that we've seen her do on screen.
I mean, the very closest we've seen is mind control, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Mind manipulation.
Yeah, I mean, so that and that was the thing that they
instead of
did
reality manipulation.
They did struggle with that in the comics too. To be fair, I mean, for originally in the old school character, she had hex power, and it really was,
which is very loose. It's
and it was mostly laser blasts out of her hands or whatever for years until they made her more complex and interesting, but they also kind of made her OP.
Yeah, she is so broken. It's amazing. It's one of the reasons she's one of my favorites.
But it's also why House of M was so good, because they broke her.
Yeah.
They broke her down, which was great. So I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I will. But like right now, it's like.
I will say though, there's a lot of a lot of pressure riding on WandaVision for me, because if this isn't good, then I won't have very high hopes for Loki or Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just won't have high hopes for them.
Right.
I don't have high hopes for Loki. Which
I don't
is sad. I like Tom Hiddleston, but Loki
Tom Hiddleston's
is
great. Yeah.
very overplayed in the MCU.
What? No way.
You know what else? You know what else it might be, as I'm sitting here too? What is, I don't like sitcoms. I just don't care. And this is a riff on sitcoms. Maybe that's it. I just don't like that theme.
I don't get the feeling that like each episode is going to be exactly like a sitcom, but I can see that now.
Yeah.
But Falcon and Winter Soldier, I hope is good. I really hope it's essentially like Jack Ryan, but with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I kind of wanted it to be a spy versus spy kind of deal.
Well, I want it to be that kind of political espionage thriller thing in the same way that the Winter Soldier was.
That's what I want. I want it to be a continuation of what the Winter Soldier was. And if it is, that will be my reason to keep Disney Plus, because that is what I really, really want.
Yeah. And that's also something you keep episodic.
Can we
you will keep in episodes, so because that way you have to like keep suspense going.
Exactly. Well, you mean it'll be serialized.
Yes, that's what I what I meant.
Yeah. So can we skip to the Sam Jackson story? Who has that? Let's skip to that.
I got it.
Yeah.
So speaking of TV shows about Marvel characters, Sam Jackson, his Nick Fury character, is now getting his own Disney Plus series. Variety has reported that Kyle Bradstreet is attached to write and executive produce. No word yet on where or when it will fit in the larger MCU. Although if it involves more S.H.I.E.L.D. than just Fury, I'm kind of curious if they're going to tie in some of the recently wrapped Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. But yeah, Nick Fury's getting a show.
So I love Sam Jackson. I like his portrayal of the character too. But I don't know if I would like this if it feels too much like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It needs to connect with Winter Soldier.
I think it needs to be more of that political thriller, espionage, kind of spy stuff. I don't think it would work well if it went in more of a Bond-like super spy way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm not sure. I like Sam Jackson's Nick Fury, but he's never the main character. And don't know.
That's why I actually kind of support this idea, is because he's never gotten his due to me.
Well, but the characters in terms of how it's used in the MCU never really feels like it's designed to be a main character.
Yeah,
it's always this character that's helpful to all of the other characters. It's like if you made Gandalf the main character or something. It's like it's slightly against the grain, and that individual, not like Sam Jackson, but there's not as much made to be in that character to drive the audience following them through.
Well,
I have to.
go ahead.
I have to say though, when you were reading the story, it just brought into my head of some fan art that I saw earlier today that I would really love to see come to fruition.
I know what it. So yeah,
where it's like this cloaked figure with the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's like my time has come. You know, they're going to like finally feel my wrath and everything, and it's like ripping the Power Stone.
The purple Power Stone.
The purple Power Stone, and then all of a sudden it's just a lightsaber. It's like the Fury, and it's of Mace Windu.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, I need that so bad.
That's hilarious.
I would like to see it. I would like for it to be very good, because if it is good, I will be incredibly excited about it. I am more worried about this one being actually good than I am WandaVision.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything. This is early yet, so who knows?
Yeah, this was just literally announced.
So I have a stupid question for y'all. At the end of Far From Home, they show Sam Jackson being, spoilers, on a spaceship. Did they resolve that?
Yeah, so I think,
or is that just where he is right now in the story?
No. So this is leaning into
that is still the.
This is leaning into comic book people, because we know where he is. Essentially, this is almost like in short, the space version of Shield.
Because my question is, would they pick up with him there, or would he be? I don't know.
That'd be awesome if they did that. That would be awesome. I would be into that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also going to have to educate your audience about
and
why
if
he's
it's
there.
If it's a show, they can. The biggest problem with this, to me, though, is that some of the mystique of the character was destroyed by stupid ass Captain Marvel jokes.
Whoops.
Oh, okay. Whoa, that was really bad. Yeah.
What just happened? What happened?
Nico just dropped out completely there for me.
Yeah, and he popped up on the other side of my screen. That's pretty funny. Oh, there went Tina. Or no, there went Nico again.
No, I got scared. I got real scared.
I think I got most of what you were talking about. Canonically, Far From Home is the most recent MCU thing.
Yeah.
And where Nick Fury is at the end of that is where he is. So yeah, we don't know if this is going to take place of Nick Fury in space.
Well, see, the thing that I brought up, I guess, while you were swapping was some of the mystique or the mysteriousness of the Nick Fury character kind of got screwed up in Captain Marvel, like for the sake of jokes. Like the reason he has an eye patch.
Yeah, the last time I trusted someone, I got this.
It was a cat. Lol.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh, maybe
Technically, it was a flirkin.
Yeah.
It was a cat. Ha, ha, ha.
technically it was a Men in Black joke, is what it was.
Yeah, it was.
But all that aside, Samuel Jackson is just, I enjoy him in a space if he's a lead where he can just sort of eat the scenery. I think it could be good. It could be fun.
It's just going to be a TV show of Shaft.
Okay, well,
I don't know. We just got another Chef movie, and it wasn't good.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see
I
it.
didn't see it either.
All
I
right,
have
so
to see
let's hit that story we skipped. That's a Tina.
Yeah, so Netflix has put in development an epic live-action series based on Conan, the iconic sword and sorcery character created by writer Robert E. Howard. The project, from Frederick Malmberg and Mark Wheeler's Pathfinder Media, is the first in a deal between Netflix and Conan Properties International, owned by Malmberg's Cabinet Entertainment. The pact gives Netflix the exclusive option to acquire rights to the Conan literary library and develop works across TV and film, both live action and animated. A search is currently underway for a writer and showrunner to pen the Conan adaptation and a director to helm the project. Malmberg and Wheeler will serve as executive producers on the potential series through their Pathfinder Media. Now, Conan, the character, was most famously played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1982 feature Conan the Barbarian, and in 2011, Conan the Barbarian reboot, produced by Malmberg. The title role was played by Jason Momoa.
Which he didn't do a bad job in that movie. I feel like he came ready to play. It was the script that he was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was mostly the script.
It was a lackluster film. But I did like him in it.
He had that like fun, excited kind of feel throughout it. So I feel like he was a good pick for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just a crap of the draw for the writer.
Well, Jason Momoa does a crap ton of TV still, so
he does.
He could literally do this. It's like you don't realize how much TV he does because he does it in other countries.
Well, I do, because it's all goes up to like Netflix and Amazon Prime. It's like,
it's like,
and
Jason Momoa. Yeah.
I mean, props to not resting on his laurels. It's like, hey, I got a day job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this only disappoints me if this goes through, because I did kind of want to see the King Conan thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger and his son maybe taking up the reins kind of thing, which would have been awesome with
his son played by Jason Momoa.
Yes, Jason Momoa. Yeah, exactly. That's the dream right there.
You know what I would love though? If out of this came a Red Sonja series.
Yes. Yes, that would be
amazing.
That would be awesome.
I really like, for instance, Marvel's current run with Conan, since they reacquired the license, is phenomenal. It's super good. So I definitely recommend anyone looking that up. So I think that's kind of helped reinvigorate Conan in terms of market, and also Netflix has done well-ish with kind of swords and sorcery stuff, especially with how well Witcher has done for them. So I don't know. I'm kind of, I need more, but I
need to see the team behind it and the cast.
Yeah, I need more of the team behind it. Who's Conan? Stuff like that.
I feel like the upside to this is there's so much material out there. There's a wealth of things to steal from for a series, so it could be fun. And this is something that that doesn't have to be like a Game of Thrones type of approach where it's really serious. This could be kind of campy and quirky, and that would be cool. That would still be fun. I mean, that's what the original Conan was.
And that's the other thing about Conan. Conan is essentially very episodic. Like there are key story beats throughout his history, like Conan the stereotypical barbarian, him as a pirate with Bellet, him taking over Aquilania, I forget the kingdom's name, and him as a king and stuff like that. But it's not like there's not like a through line like there is in Game of Thrones, where it's like, here's the political stakes that happen that you have to follow all the way through to see the culmination. It's like Conan's season 1, season 2 will not be the same plot. That's just how it works.
But yeah, it's like the old Tarzan comics and that kind of thing. It's the same kind of serialized, or not serialized, but serials, like the old 1940s serials, where it's in each kind of season at least is going to be of itself. I think
like Cap'n Crunch.
Yeah, like Captain Crunch. Except it scratches the mouth. Nico is...
I'm dying.
That is okay. Okay, so where are we?
So what's out on Blu-ray?
Oh, so that does bring me to something interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed it. I just I got a press release, and I posted some copy from the press release into our group from Vinegar Syndrome. If you guys don't know who Vinegar Syndrome is, they're an interesting distributor because they started out basically distributing porn from the 1970s on very nice Blu-ray collections.
All right, you have my attention.
Yeah, they would.
First, you had my curiosity.
Scandalous, seditious.
Yeah, the most scandalous stuff that showed in the theaters on 42nd Street in New York City.
But they would give it a good treatment. Yeah,
they would do a full restoration because they were film prints. And that's where Vinegar Syndrome started. Now Vinegar Syndrome has they still put that stuff out. However you look at that kind of stuff, they still put it out. They have not stepped away from their heritage, but at the same time, they do really premium versions of classic horror films too. And they tend to get things.
They put a 4K of Rad and Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah. And those were the great experiment that brings us to where we are right now, those two releases. So they announced this new label called VSU, and everybody was wondering what the new label was going to be. And I got the press release, and it's really interesting. What that stands for is Vinegar Syndrome Ultra. Starting at the end of this year, they will be putting out 4 to 5 very premium 4K releases every year. They're kind of like the answer to Indicator or Arrow Video's Arrow Academy, but it's their version of Arrow Academy. So their first VSU title that's coming out is Beastmaster, which is why it relates to this story.
Excellent.
Beastmaster is a real cheesy Conan the Barbarian kind of knockoff. That
like Conan Tarzan knockoff-esque kind of thing.
Yeah, it's sword and sorcery kind of stuff. It's notable to me because there is one actor that was also in that 70s show, and she was also a Bond girl. And that's Tanya. Is it Roberts? Is her last name?
Tanya Roberts.
Tanya Roberts. I think that's her last name. But anyway, they're going to be doing these super premium releases, and the first one is Beastmaster. So everyone's like, oh, this is their academic line of very high-end releases, and the first one is Beastmaster.
I mean, it's more than what Criterion's doing.
Well, and that's the argument that's happening right now. Is even Vinegar Syndrome, which is a small company in comparison to Criterion, is doing an entire spin-off company just to do 4Ks.
like every movie, like so the argument for Criterion, why aren't you doing 4Ks? Every movie doesn't have to be a 4K. It could just be like the super nice premium one.
Yeah.
But like do
Yeah.
4 or 5 a year and I'll get
Yeah,
off your dick.
cherry
you know?
pick it, do some really cool stuff. So, but this year, now through the end of the year is incredible as far as physical media releases. There's so many good things, and it's not all just like what Criterion would do. A lot of people argue because it's hoity-toity art house fare that no one cares about except people that are hardcore into that. Well, The Last Starfighter comes out this month on 4K from Arrow Video. They're putting out Mallrats. That's not a 4K, but I just reviewed the Mallrats today while I was waiting to start this show and shoveling in food as fast as I could. I was looking at the extras. So there's a lot of really cool stuff coming this year. It's like a really exciting thing, and I knew Zach would be excited to hear somebody like Vinegar Syndrome is going to be doing this many 4Ks. It's crazy.
Yeah, and again, I'm not asking for every single title, but
No,
throw
some
me a
titles,
bone, something like that. It gets me
some
hyped
titles
for it.
don't need it. Some titles don't need it. Whiplash just came out in 4K.
It honestly didn't need it.
Well, I'm kind of glad I didn't get it because the word on Whiplash is it was digitally shot, and it was shot in 2K.
So what it was
a digital
was
upscale.
What it is Damien Chazelle basically wrote part of a script, shot the scene where it's the guy going off on him for the first time, and he did that as a short film to get funding to make it into a big film.
Yeah.
But he shot that short film in 1080p because that's all he could do.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came time to shoot the regular film, whatever shots they already had for that scene, they just took them and put them in the official movie.
Yeah.
So there are scenes in Whiplash that are in 1080p.
Yep.
I mean, it's not an entire scene, but it's certain shots, and then the rest of it was just mastered in 2K. So it's kind of like,
okay, don't need it. The HDR probably helps a little bit, but don't need it. Anyway, it's just really good news if you're a physical media collector, because if Vinegar Syndrome's going to do it, then everybody else who's in that world, in that size of a distributor, is going to do it. Kino Lorber is doing the original Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max gets a 4K treatment.
Yep. But this week, you know what you can get? You can get the Elephant Man in a nice digipack from, isn't that Criterion?
That's Criterion, or if you want the 4K,
import it.
Import it.
Yep.
It's the same master.
Yep. Stargirl season 1 is out this week. Jaws 3-movie collection. This collection is hilarious because it has Jaws 2, 3, and 4 in it.
It's designed to trick grandma for little Timmy to get some movies. You said you wanted Jaws. You said 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Blumhouse, Ghost Ship special edition, like collector's edition from.
That's not Blumhouse. That's Ghost House.
Is it Ghost House?
That's Ghost House.
Yeah. Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that movie has a good opening scene.
Yeah, I was about to say the wire scene still sticks out to me.
Yeah, it has a great opening scene, and you can just turn it off right after that.
Exactly.
Have it as a short little film.
Yep. Gotcha is out from Kino Lorber this week. That Gotcha is a weird little movie from the 80s about paintball. And Wicked City. There's a lot of anime out this week too, but I don't want to try to pronounce it, so we'll post that later.
Fair.
Anyway, that's what's out this week. There's a crap ton of stuff coming next week. And Tina, we're only less than 2 weeks away from Friday the 13th.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to tell
you
the
meant
story?
the release? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking because there is a Friday the 13th in November.
Yep.
Which is close, but more than 2 weeks away.
We're talking about this box set.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. That comes out.
So, Steven, do you want to tell the horror story of the Dawn of the Dead box set?
You tell the horror story. You're driving this boat.
All right. Well, essentially, it came out that Second Sight is putting out like the most deluxe set of Dawn of the Dead in 4K, like ever. It's a 7-disc set with 3 4Ks of each cut of the film, so theatrical, international, and then the Dario Argento cut, all in 4K, all in HDR 10 plus, and even a whole disc of bonus features, which those bonus features are like 4 hours in total. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Then it contains the soundtrack and 2 extra audio CDs of every single cue in the film, audio cue. And it contains postcards and 2 full books on the film itself, one written by George Romero, like the full set. And it was like $90.
Yeah, it was 86 bucks was what we had.
What?
So we jump on this as soon as the
Yeah.
pre-orders go, because one, even if like say for instance, it's a very limited edition. So say for instance, I don't really want to keep it, I could resell it real quick.
For sure,
because it's selling out now. But we jump on this on a website called base.com, and we're like, woo, we got one.
Nailed it.
Can't wait until October. Then we get an email saying, oh, well, it's actually been pushed to November because production and COVID and all that. Okay, that's fine. But it's on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get an email from Base saying, actually, you know what? Due to COVID and due to recent things going on, we're no longer shipping outside of the European Union.
What?
Yep.
So my order is canceled, and we have to go to Zavi.
So we start freaking, trying to figure out where we're going to
one,
get it.
it's more expensive, and 2, the shipping, from what I've heard, Zavi isn't really the best.
Well, the big issue that I've heard about Zavi is with their steel books. Because
stuff
they're
arrives damaged.
Yeah.
And that's the only distributor in the United States selling it. Like, if you go to Amazon UK, you can get the 4K, or excuse me, you can get the regular edition, which is region B locked, so it won't play in American players, shipped to you. But if you go for the 4K edition, they will not ship to the United States.
Yeah, so we got
Amazon.
we got frantic.
So no other distributor, like Second Sight's website, doesn't ship to the United States, and a bunch of other places are either sold out of it or just not shipping to the US.
So what
I'm worried now that basically Zavi is overselling their stock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like we get 5,000 copies and we sold 10,000 of them. It's like I have this fear that,
I was
especially
really
this late in the game, we're just going to get an email that says sorry.
Yeah, or we get sorry, we're out. We'll ship as soon as we get more, and then we wait and it never comes.
A year or 2.
Yeah, they still have the pre-order up, so it's not saying that it's sold out or anything.
And also, we're up
It's
to
sold out on Diabolic. It's sold out on
Diabolic. If you are a collector of the fine versions of, like the premium versions of physical media, Diabolic DVD is a good place to go.
It's sold out on deep discount.
But what did we end up going to for Zavi? Is like $120 or something?
It went up to $100 for the set, and then plus $20 shipping. It was
shipping,
like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at $110 now. Where we were $86 a piece.
So,
but this set is so nice, and it's it's worth it. It's worth it.
So that's Zach and Steven's misadventures.
I am not somebody who flips, movies. If I buy it, it's because I really want it. But that said, the Halloween box set that we have, Zach, do you have that set, the Shout Factory set?
No.
Oh, I have it. Do you know what it's going for now?
Oh, it went out of print.
Yeah, it's at about $800 right now to buy that set. Yeah.
I'd sell it personally. I'd sell that shit right now for $800.
No,
I own the 4K of the original. That's all.
I'd wait for at least 4 digits.
Well, see, what happens with movies though is you do that. Like this Dawn of the Dead set that's out, I had basically the DVD version of it. Wasn't quite as nice, but Anchor Bay.
It was a beautiful set.
It was a beautiful set, and that thing was going for about $500. The Second Sight one got announced, and I had to sell mine for $55.
Yep.
I mean, so you really can't sit on movies. If you're flipper, then you got to do it right away, because somebody's going to announce a better version, and you're going to get screwed. I think 4K is the end, though. I think 4K is really the last of the physical media. So
because everything going in streaming, or in some instances, you can download something that is a better bit rate than 4K.
Well, and it's not even that.
But that is way out of people's pocket money.
There's no purpose to doing anything better than 4K because we're years away from mainstream 8K TVs. So it's going to be a very long time. But
I mean, the problem with that too is, name a film that's mastered in 8K.
Nothing. I mean, what?
2001: A Space Odyssey,
yeah.
Baraka,
Hey, I
Samsara.
love you guys, but we need to wrap this up.
I was trying to make the transfer because I was going to say, but you can always get things on paper.
And if you're looking for some comics this week, we have Batman Superman Annual #1 from DC, Department of Truth #1, a series premiere from Image Comics from writer James Tynion IV. Over in Marvel, we have another #1, Shang-Chi, which is #1 of 5, a miniseries starring their preeminent martial artist that is not Iron Fist, and is also getting a movie soon when Marvel has movies coming out in theaters in some future date. And then Stranger Things Science Camp #1 of 4. So if you want some more Stranger Things and don't want to wait for Netflix to give you a new season, there you go.
So I'm interested in Shang-Chi because I'm wondering. Well, I'm not wondering. I feel like for sure it's going to be reflective of what they're going to try and do with the movie to some degree, right?
I'm curious because I know the movie's doing a lot with it's Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, or I forget what the subtitle of it is, but it's
something like that. Yeah,
going after like the Mandarin stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't think the miniseries and much of his lore really deals with that. I'm not super caught up on the character's background. That said, though, I am interested in the miniseries because it is kind of a good jumping on point for that character if anyone's interested in looking up. Because it's been a while since the character has had his own comic.
Yeah, I'm down. I want to see that. They'll be fun distraction, and like you said, to kind of refresh on that character before we get the movie. Hopefully, we still get it in a reasonable time frame. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully.
So if you want to see Nico's picks for the week, you can see those over on CultureSmash TV later tonight. We've been on here a long time. I guess we should wrap this thing up.
Yup.
Yeah. I finished my cocktail.
This is what happens when we don't do this for 2 weeks.
It is what happens. I anticipated it. I was ready. All right. So let's bring it to an end. Nico, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream, NIKOSCREAM. You can see it on the screen if you were watching the video.
Nice. Tina?
You can find me on Steam, Cheddar Popper, Instagram under Cheddar Popper, and don't forget to check out the Pupper at the.shadow.pupper on Instagram.
Zach?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. You can find me on Steam and Discord and Battle.net as a dangerous mute lunatic. I play a lot of Warzone with friends. We play Among Us. We play Left 4 Dead. That new campaign is shit. I'm calling it. Sorry.
You don't like it?
It was part 1, part 2, so it's over in 15 minutes, and then it was for some reason the game decided to kick us in the balls, and it was unreasonably difficult on normal.
Okay, so you suck. Anyway, you can find me.
We all died, and oh my god, I was
okay.
Yelling.
All right. Let me wrap it up. Find me at All Things Culture Smash. Also, Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube, and I am sharing this show out over on that channel some also. So we have picked up some viewers from there too. So thank you guys for that, and we will see everybody next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.